Good morning and happy new week to you wherever you're watching from. I am IGNATIUS and welcome to Your Business, a program where we talk business activities not just in Nigeria but also in Rivers State. Well, today, as Rivers State is in view of celebrating its Golden Jubilee, we are going to be x-raying the business activities and what is there to celebrate in Rivers State. These and more business news after the short timeout. Welcome back. Now to discuss Rivers State economy vis-a-vis where it is today and where it ought to be as Rivers State marks its Golden Jubilee anniversary, we have in the studio the regional editor of Business Day newspaper, Nigerian foremost business daily, Mr. IGNATIUS CHUKWU. So it's so good to have you on the program.
No, thank you, Charles. Thank you.
Now let's dive into the discussion. First of all, as Rivers State marks its Golden Jubilee, where were we at the starting point?
Well, thank you very much. Rivers State is 50 years now, and we congratulate the state, the entire people of the state, the ethnic groups, the leaders, and everybody that has helped Rivers State to get to 50 years. We congratulate them. We in the business sector, we are interested in looking at the economy of every state, economy of every country, and the economy of every region. In fact, you have economy of families and the economy of groups. So first of all, a lot of people get confused when you say you are looking at the economy. When people are celebrating anything, they only think of merriment. People think of celebrations that will mark jubilations, festivities, and the change of cloth and looking big. Fine. You are entitled to it because you merited, you were alive to be 50 years. But beyond that, economists and those of us who are economic watchers or business analysts, we try to look at the fuel that drives the celebration. You don't celebrate if you don't, if you can't fuel it. So the economy fuels the celebration, and therefore the economy of the people would look like trying to understand how the things that give you income and the things you spend that income on, and the relationship between your income and your expenditure, whether as a family, whether as an individual, or whether as a group, let alone a state or a country. Though the totality of those things that make you to earn and the totality of those things that make you to spend, and the interaction between the forces of income and the forces of expenditure, and that will create a balance or a deficit for you. At the end of your earning and your spending as a family, as an individual, as an organization, even this organization, at the end of earning and at the end of spending over a period of time, either per week or per month or per year, it is you either land in a balance, you have surplus, or you have a deficit, which means you are owing people, or you balance off in such a way that you are not owing and nobody is owing you. So it is to be the duty of the economic managers of any government to watch these things and to deliberately push them. Unfortunately, in our country, we have always had what I call a economy by accident.
Okay.
In which case, where you are is not where you plan to be. Where you are could be accident of history, accident of fortune, accident of economy. For example, Nigeria has oil. Did Nigeria deliberately go out to search out mineral resources and found oil, or oil just happened on you and you now become a big boy? So Rivers State has an economic history. Okay? Let's say there are some debts that are important for Rivers State. If you want to trace the economic history of Rivers State, there are some debts. You should be thinking of 1885. Yes, Rivers State is celebrating 50 years, and therefore you're talking about 1967, May 27, 1967. That's right. But Rivers State was not born on 50 years ago. Rivers State existed over the decades, over the years, hundreds of years. But the time we can begin to understand, they existed as independent states. Opobo, Bone, Andoni, Ikwere, they existed on their own. They were not countries, they were not states. But by 1885, this entity was carved out by the colonialists as oil protectorate. So it began to assume a political structure, an economic entity. Now, that 1885 is very, very important in tracing the economic history of Rivers State. 1885, they were turned into an oil protectorate. By 1893, they were now called the Niger Coast Protectorate. So two things ring a bell. Oil protectorate. The next time, they were called Niger Coast Protectorate. So oil, whether that oil is crude oil or palm oil or whatever oil or granite oil or whatever oil, you see that oil began to ring a bell to identify this region. And they were called, this is a protectorate, a place we, the British, are protecting. We are protecting these people. So what were they protecting? The oil they found here, being palm oil. So it began to underline the economy of this place, oil. So by 1893, they now called it Niger Coast Protectorate. So this Niger Delta you hear today began to be recognized, began to be a Niger coast. The coast is the ocean. The Niger is the river tearing into the ocean through different channels. Therefore, the name they bear today, the Niger Delta you hear about today, the river state they bear today, you can see oil and Niger in it coming together till they were now called River State in 1967. So you see that the name just didn't drop from anywhere. It had a history. And therefore, those important days, the one that are concerned River State very much, would be 1885, 1893, and 1967. Okay. They now became but there are also other dates that are important to them. For example, 1914, when Nigeria was an amalgamation, bringing this Niger Protectorate, Niger Coast Protectorate, bringing them into a larger entity called Nigeria. So we shall leave that because our analysis is not on Nigeria. So we leave it with a mention. 1967, they were now created into the present River State, which we call Old River State. 1976, they carved Andoni region into River State, and they brought more of palm oil and fishing, because we're not just looking at these dates for purpose of saying to show that you sabi history. It's to show that they played a part in the economic history of these people. So they brought in the Andoni zone. You know, that's why you have Orash River, okay. a very big place for fishing. It was seeded into River State. So it brought those heavy yams that you used to see, the first yams you eat after New Year, around April, May, June, the first yams you eat before upland yam will come, the Orash region. So I want to let you know that it's not about giving you local government. What are they bringing into the greater River State? By 1996, 20 years later, they removed 8 local governments from River State into Bayelsa today. So you see, 1976 made the old rivers to be larger. 1996 made it smaller. They lost 8 local governments. And what those 8 local governments, what are they known for? More fishing. So they lost more fishing zones. So where they are now is aftermath of that. So these are the important dates in their economic history. But what does it refer to in a products? Any student of economic history of River State will understand that these dates show that this area was very good in fish and fish stock. It was a zone that's supposed to be the Norway of Nigeria, the zone of all kinds of fish. But fish used to behave according to a river. The size of a river will decide the size of your fish. Yes. So this is a place that has ocean, which means ocean-going fish can be groomed in River State. Then it also shows that brackish water, salt water, different kinds of fish. Fresh. Those that grow in the main ocean, they will be here. You can get the big fish that is as big as half of this building. It's possible in River State. Now you now get fish that you can have trawlers that will have plenty of crayfish and crabs and all seafood. So that is what this place was for. But the indigenous were using canoe to do fishing. Therefore, they would only catch the type that canoe can catch. So this is the history is that it was a place for fish and fish stock. 2, it was a place for farming.
So agriculture was really something
that... It was also the place that time. Then it was also a place for palm oil. So the history is fish, farming, and palm oil.
Okay.
Before the oil now came. I want to avoid that. That has been the history.
That is in 1885, like you said. That was when it became the oil protectorate.
Yes. As far back as that, they now recognize palm oil. But you can talk about, if you can translate this knowledge into export.
Okay.
Now say, because economy is what you produce, feed yourself, and give other people. Because other people will surely give you something, and you must surely pay. Either you are paying by cash as it is today, that's cash as it is, or you are paying by barter. Like you give them something, they give you something. But whether people that are claiming that they are poor, look, in those days, you must have something to give out for something. So you must give out something. Even when there was no money to marry wives, in my place they used to give cow to get a wife. So if you cannot work hard to earn a cow, to groom and get a cow, you will not easily get a wife. So something is always equal to something, whether by cash or trade by barter. So the people of this area had this fish stock, they had palm oil. So when international trade came, the international commodities for trade for this region were first slaves. So it was the region where all the slaves were brought from all over. So people from here became merchants in slavery, because those slaves have to be kept somewhere. They have to be fed. They have to be protected. Treated. So you don't just catch somebody and send him to Portugal or to Portugal overnight. You will have to keep them. So this region produced merchants who were slave merchants who were keeping them. You had women feeding them. You had people chaining them. You had several things. So it became an economy running around slavery.
Employment of labor.
Yes, as well. Employment of things. Then the merchants now who will buy plenty and keep and now export them to the various. They became merchants until when slavery left, they began to export oil, palm oil. So their export history is, first of all, slaves. Second one, oil, palm oil.
So just to Cotton, if the region was known for fishery, like you said, and farming, there was never a time in River State history where we exported fishery.
No, because the ships that came from abroad, they did not come for fish. It's not as if the fish export was for internal trade.
Okay.
Like selling fish to the hinterland. Remember that this zone used to produce fish. The trading that they had internal trade and external trade. While they had commodities for internal trade to sell to other parts of Nigeria, they now had palm oil to sell to other parts of the world. So they were strong both in internal trade and in external trade.
Okay, now moving on, where all this history that have been put in place, where are we at the moment?
Where we are at the moment is export of oil. Then now this oil protectorate, they call them, was for palm oil. So the palm oil was going well pari passu with the fishing. So that's why if you go around the river, the most of the ports in rivers, they call them fishing ports.
Yes.
So you can settle down and fish. You smoke it there, produce it there, paddle it with canoe to Port Harcourt or to any nearby point of contact with the land people. Then people used to come from as far as Enugu, Abakaleke, Uweromahia, from any part of Nigeria by land. They'll be heading towards wherever, near the Warren, Port Harcourt, anywhere that close to the fishing port. So they were buying. So a very big trade was going on. They brought upland goods to this place and they bought fish and other things and went back. Nobody complained. The people coming to buy fish from here, they were not complaining. And the people here were actually very strong in exporting their goods to other nations. Other nations were nations within the ethnic nations within Nigeria then. So it was their own form of international trade, even though the other nations were also
their own. Because as of that time, this was still in the southern part.
They were still nations of their own, because they were ethnic nationalities of their own. So when they came into a protectorate, it did not stop their ethnic nationalities from having their identities. So this is what going on until when Nigeria was now called a country. Then there was another nation now to come and swallow this other nation that people knew.
Okay.
So that is also how it affects economy. Now the introduction of oil and gas to replace their oil.
The oil we knew as the palm oil.
The new oil state now remember that the previous oil was an all-inclusive economy, meaning that father mother, brother, sister, even your auntie that came to stay with you will have to join in that economy. Okay. Whether it was fishing, whether it was farming, or whether it was a palm produce, they were involved. Nobody will stay idle and watch people doing oil. That's what in my place they say oil is one business that has everybody's hands must be on deck. Unless a baby that is still sucking breast. Once that baby has reiterated to 4 years,
you must start.
There is something you can do. There is always something you can do. You can even be blowing the fire. It is part of. It's an industry.
You can be playing with the fire and then.
But now the oil came, crude oil came, oil and gas came. It became the transition period is what we call the Sudan de Luke economy. There was a transition that is Sudan Luke, whereby an economy will be going on. Your job is to Sudan the Luke. Why in the palm oil you cannot Sudan the Luke. In fishing you cannot Sudan the Luke. In agriculture you cannot Sudan the Luke. But a new economy came. And when you are treating the years of economic history of River State, you must take into consideration 1956. That was the year oil was discovered. And the first one was exported in 1958. So in that case, those two dates, discovery of oil and the exportation of oil, they may look like innocuous dates. They may look like harmless days. My brother, they are not harmless. They turned around the thinking of the region. Those 2 days mark a transition, a transformation from an inclusive economy to an exclusive economy. Okay, the one I call Sudan de Luke economy.
Okay, so in your words then, are you saying that 1956, which was the day oil was discovered in this region,
yes,
that was when our economic problems started?
Well, it's supposed to be the year economic boom started. But we're looking back now. It was a new thinking, a new economic thinking came. An economy where your own you have to Sudan, you have to sit, and the economy will be operated by other people. They now give you rent, or give you handout, or give you something, find you something. That was the year that introduced the Sudan Look economy, exclusive economy, non-interactive economy, and a rent economy. An economy where your own is to an entitlement economy, where you have to sit there and say, I'm entitled to this.
This is my right.
To this. Your leg is not touching the economy. It's not part of making the economy. Your hand is not part of the production of the economy. Your own is a right. You began to earn by right instead of to earn by touching, not by what you did, but by who you were. So it became the new economy that is governing Nigeria. The history of Rivers economy is a microcosm of the history of Nigeria economy. Moving our thinking from let me join hand to produce to let me follow them. Let them say they put my name. If they put your name, you are entitled to share. While it's not by what you did, but by who you are. So that new thinking is the one ruling the economy today.
That manpower networking system was what causes. Now, but if you're saying that was the reason, what of countries like the Middle East? Obviously, they also have oil. Let's talk of Bahrain and Kuwait. Why didn't that also make them become a non-exclusive kind of economy like what we witnessed in 1956?
Yeah, there are many of those countries also have degrees of this same problem. Nobody will find oil and be the same. The only thing that it's like a family. It's like in a family. If they marry your sister and the man is a millionaire and they start pumping money to your compound, some families will say, let's now relax and enjoy from our in-law. It's allowed, but you pay for it. Some families will say, though our sister has married out and the money is being pumped by our in-law, let us receive that money, but let us not begin to buy suit, to buy car, change flat, and begin to be consumers. Let's increase how we were consuming before, one small. Let us increase small, but use the surplus money, use the surplus to invest in something. Because your in-law can die. Your in-law can also one day get tired of you and say, I've been carrying this family for long. So you can either open pure water business, open bakery, open laundry from that your in-law's surplus money. But he didn't give it to you to open business. So he was giving it to you that I begin to live big, ride the car. They go say, see my in-laws, we are all rich people. If some wise families will convert that money to another thing, so that when their in-law is tired of supplying them, or nature takes him, or death kills him, they will fall back on what they gained from him. Some families will also say, okay, this year they change the children's school from Bako school to Ajibo school. You begin to increase how you spend money. It will be good. People will be clapping, say, hey, since they married your elder sister, their husband, their in-law, their Obodo Yibo, now, hey, see, they wear new shoes. It's also okay. Whichever one that happens is good. But in the long run. In the long run, how will it be? So, some countries, when they got that oil, they will say, okay, we have seen this money. Let us transfer a large chunk of this income, this sudden income. Palm oil wasn't sudden. Fish wasn't sudden. Somebody went ahead planting it or grooming it. But oil and gas, crude oil was sudden. When they were doing research for it, many of our people didn't know. What we had one day was boom, they say we had oil.
That was it.
We had oil. Whether the oil was found in your village or not, all of us follow.
As long as it was
found in your region. If you say we have palm tree, who has it? There must be an owner.
Okay.
Somebody owned it. So because somebody planted it or you inherited it from your fathers and you nurture it.
Someone definitely must have put it in the ground.
Yeah. But this good oil, we here said now we get them. So we just rose up one day. So all you needed to do was to fight hard to follow for those who get them, so that your own share will be bigger. So what I'm trying to say is that some other countries, either they were wiser or they had seen it before. What they now did was that, okay, let us use surplus. Let's improve our lifestyles in our country small, but let's use a part of it to build a city called Dubai, to build an economy called this, so that will now be secured income. If somebody that cheats you money, that money is unsecured. Until you now, even if you steal money, you loot money, you go and carry government money, 2 billion naira. It's money, but it is a money in transit. That's why money laundering comes in. Until you use it to build hotel or build filling station or pass it into a business, so that business now will be producing new money. If you keep them at 2 billion naira, when they are looking for it, they go and find it under your pillow. They arrest the money. It will go back. You keep them in a bank account. They bring TSA or
Treasury single.
Something happen. You put them for pocket. They waka. One day thief will take it. So when you loot money or when they dash you money, it's not money yet.
Until
you now invest it in a stable area where it will be bringing income. If you like now, you can be eating the income and you can be jiving, you can be boasting. But when it is that raw form, you stole the money or you earn the money or you gather the money or you collected the money or they dash you the money. So in that form it is subject to temptation. It can become a spend trip. It can become too easy to spend. Anybody who tell you, brother, good morning, you dash up 2,000 naira because plenty of money is in your hand. But if you had invested it in a business, you hardly go and bring out 10,000 and dash people. You wait until it will yield income. So some other countries transferred this value, the value from oil and gas, transferred it to another, secured it. Secured it now became a secured investment. But often, if you leave it in the raw form, you will only be doing development. You will not be doing investment. You build more this, more that. Most of all those big houses, big things you are building will require plenty of electricity, require workers to build. Remember when one footballer from this state bought a $500 million building in Italy? After 1 year, he's got the cost of running electricity in that building, maintaining workers became difficult. Anything he earned in football, went in servicing a building, and he will not sleep there more than twice a year. So if you don't take time, you convert your income to development instead of to investment.
Okay.
So if you buy more radio, more TV, more home theater, more these things, you buy the kind of shit you cannot wash, except dry clean and wash them. You buy the kind of shoe that ordinary shoe shiner cannot shine. They have to shine it in Abuja. You buy all of those things so much that the so-called property you have, you become a slave to your property. Okay. But the other person will invest it and it will be earning income.
Now, talking about this, it's one of the topics we'll even be discussing as we go, where you talk of getting yourself into developmental projects rather than investment. Because while we're going to x-ray what we should be celebrating in today's economy, we'll look at the developmental strides. One other aspect of the River State economy that we've lost huge funds to. Now, let's go back. Oil has constantly been one of the problems every Rivers indigent has caused deficits in his or her economy. We know that. And agriculture has always been something that the government, not just the federal government, but also the state government has said we have to look in terms of if we want to improve. And we see in Rivers State some agricultural policies like the school to land, the Shanghai farm and all that. in your watch, do you think that has gone in any way to improve our sector?
My dear, we have agreed here that in the beginning, this state was rich in fishing, farming, palm oil, and blah, 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 blah. We have said that at the point they were exporting slaves from there, they went to palm oil, and from there to palm oil and gas. The problem is that the things they were exporting before were their own. When oil and gas came, it's not ever said that was exporting the oil and gas. They became rent seekers. They pay them commission, and somebody else will explore the oil, somebody else will export it, somebody will not give you commission. Therefore, the state government also was not the owner of the economy. For once, they became watchers of an economy they did not participate in. Nobody said, okay, this area that produces this oil, this is what the community will have as a percentage, this is what the state or local government will have as a percentage. Look at what, even when they brought 13%, they were to pacify and placate the people. They were not constructive policies designed to make the people, to integrate the people, to make them partners, to make them part owners, and to make them grow with the partnership. No, it is not so. Like in Element Petrochemical, the indigenous have been given 7.5%. Workers 2.5%. Most of those workers are also indigenous, which means either as a worker or as an indigene, you have 10% to control. So if anybody wants to burn down that place, would you like it? No, because when you die, your children will continue to earn. So at a point, they pay them by 2014 ending, they pay them 14 billion. Now, if they were to be doing community development, they would have spent 900 million and call us the press to come and clap hand. They will spend 1.5 billion, they will come and clap hand. But 14 billion raw cash to say that is your share. It's not the one of to placate you. It's your share.
And it's also going, the beautiful part of it is also going into the state's economy.
It's into the state economy.
And into your own local
element and then one.
So the masses
when you are
reaches out.
recycling that kind of money. So if all the companies own refineries, all the companies built from oil from River State, that the various communities had this type of share, the state government has, the state government has, I think, the other 10 or 15% in Indorama, which means the state government will collect about 3 billion every year as their own share. Then the local government people will collect. If everybody is collecting like that, will people want to kill anybody? So what I was saying is that the new economy that came was the economy where the state government was not the owner, and that's very sad. We'll overlook it. 13% came to placate, but look, 13% is not integrative. It doesn't make you a part owner. So therefore, the new economy that has come is the one that is where you really don't participate. But what they're saying is, if the state had they had palm oil, they had fish, they had, now oil has come, so they are gaining from the point of tokenism. Let's find them something. Let's find them something, not an economy. It's the one where you are part of owning it, you are part of working there, you are part of producing it, you are on the board making decisions, you are everywhere where decisions are made. And your children will see you that you went to a meeting where people are deciding on oil. They will not go and burn the pipeline.
Because they know if they burn it, they also get affected.
If you say, I'm your elder brother who studied economics or who studied something, we went for a meeting where they are to make decisions on the oil concerning you. How will you burn the oil before he comes back from meeting? Because you'll be waiting for when he will come and say, waiting on a discuss. They will say, in the next 10 years, we'll be ending this. In the next so, you, okay, finish that your petrochemical engineering quick. So they have allocated 2% to us that we will produce. So you see people looking forward to tomorrow, and see people even protecting without anybody bribing them. They will be protecting from their heart.
Because it's now their work.
That inclusiveness which has been lacking. But when they give you fallout, when you complain, they find you small thing. First of all,
they give you a token.
Tokenism. So tokenism has been the gain of the region in oil and gas. Then you now use it and spend it on frivolities, because the people who even gave you the money, I don't think they even expected you to do better. It's to stop you from talking.
Well, we'll be going on a break, and when we come back, we'll still continue talking about X-raying the River State economy. And now we'll be going to how the way forward and what we should look to celebrating this 50th Jubilee after the break.
Nigerians, our fearless officers and men of the Nigerian military are winning the war against Boko Haram. Today, all occupied territories have been recovered and Boko Haram has been degraded. Our affected brothers and sisters are getting their lives back. However, they are now after you and me. In our mosques, churches, schools, motor parks, markets, entertainment centers, and public gatherings. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects, and movements to the police and other security agencies. The security of our nation is a duty for you and me. Nigeria, unite against terrorism.
Well, welcome back to Your Business. If you're just joining us, this is Your Business, and we're x-raying the River State economy vis-a-vis where it is today and where it ought to be as the state marks its golden jubilee anniversary. And still in the studio with us, Tite, who had started with a history of River State and has initiated what we call sit and look economy as a result of what happened in 1855. That is the discovery, the oil protectorate state. Is the regional editor of the Business Day newspaper, Nigeria's foremost business daily newspaper nationwide, Mr. IGNATIUS CHUKWU. So thank you for still sitting in the studio. Now let's move to the way forward. While we're talking earlier, you discussed about we doing more of investment, doing more of development than investment. Now let's look at some of the development projects in River State. From the creation of the state until today, would you say that we've invested in the wrong place?
Well, you see, oil attracted huge influx of people, and whichever government in place will like to, it created a need which will force government to do more road, put more electricity, put more water, do more road and more road and more road. So if you say the governments were wrong to expand the roads, to do road projects, to do flyovers, to do those things that we call development, if you say they were wrong, you will also be wrong. Because the reason was that while in China, they say today they'll be building one of next 50 years and build the one that will make them to hate it. Oh, yeah, almighty governor. You see that our road, we know the pastor, he has done it. It's good. But in the
them smartly on what developmental projects to invest in.
The smart thing to do is this: while you are using today's money to solve today's problem, you will not be using loan, these foreign cheap loans that are, some of them are 5.5%, some of them are 2%. You will now negotiate. A smart government will be looking at long-term projects that will be built with long-term loans.
So did our government do that? That's the question.
I'm saying that I've not seen much of those ones, and the few that were planned were seen as wrong projects in the sense that they were not solving today's problem. What is popular is to do today's problem. So, and those who are in power now, remember there was a military regime for many years, and military regimes anywhere, they don't do long-term planning because the governor will just get an order to proceed in that state or to proceed to the Dodan barracks and your tenure. So you didn't know how long you stay in the state. What do? Use the money available, do today things for them. Governors, military governors were not allowed to do long-term planning. They are like a local government caretaker chairman. They will not embark on long-term projects.
But short
now,
terms.
the civilians, when they came, they fight for power. We make you to promise people what is important to them today. And because you promise it today, you will use the whole of your energy and the whole of the money to do those things you promise you. So that they will call you Tokunadu governor. If you leave it, why does someone that one? And you go and plan one kind long road in the moon. It may be good idea for economy, so, but the people want to this. So except you are a stubborn governor, you now you are doing this other one. Use a percentage of this money to partner with those who will now do the big one. That big ones, look, big projects like that. They used to bring insult today, but they used to bring praise tomorrow.
Okay, so that's why I really want to set in as an economist and as somebody
economic analyst.
Yes,
I'm not an economist.
Yes, economic analyst. I beg your pardon. Did our government, we are about to mark our 50th anniversary, did our government in day one or halfway when we were under civilian rule thought it wise to go on long-term projects. Like you said, the road construction is something that has constantly been agenda, every governmental agenda, not just to go into politics. The educational developments are things also we get to hear every regime, education, structures, health. Did our government at any point have a long-term project?
No. From federal to state, the first long-term economic plan was by Sir Ahmadu Bello.
That is in 19...
It was truncated by war. After the war, the governments came back, and by the time they were through the war, oil had started fetching money, and there was economic boom. So they now did Udoji. What they did was to improve the earning power of civil servants, and the earning power of civil servants created super inflation, and the traders could not produce enough goods in Nigeria. They had to call all over the world, bring goods. So money don't kill us for this country. So there was a high demand power in Nigeria. More demand, but less supply. So the importation now
became an import-based economy.
We not transited swiftly. Otherwise, if the increase in our income was gradual, there would also have been gradual increase in production productivity. But because of this bump, they paid you about how many years the arrears increase your salary and backdated it for so many years and so many months. But how they pump you the money, you discuss that you needed to build a new house, buy new fridge, buy new car, buy. So
and clear your debts.
The producers were no longer able, so importation took over, and the importation was now being sustained by oil. Therefore, the first economic plan was affected. The second one, so when the military now began to rule from after the war to 1999, it was a matter of rat race. That was to say, the military governments could not stay long enough to implement any economic plan. So it was if they remember anything they did, anyone they remember they did. Nobody cared whether those projects were economically interlinked or the other. Nobody cared. So it was dumping of rather. Then these projects were filled with corruption upon corruption. For example, if you build a project, an economic project, and say it was 15 billion, when the businessmen come and they review it, they say it's not worth more than 3 billion. If you want to sell it, that's why all the government projects all the government facilities that have been sold, like NEPA, like telephone, anything, or hotels, the paper value will be in hundreds of billions. Why the people have been pricing it peanuts? Why? Because the real market value is nonsense. Because when they were awarding contract, they awarded it to highly inflated prices. And when they want to sell it, they want to sell that, who will buy? The real market price will be peanuts. That's why all of them were sold with a peanut price. So what I'm trying to say is that the rolling plans, whereby you plan for 5 years, and when you finish it, you now plan for the next 5 years. Nobody saw them in play. The NDDC had said 1 month ago, cried out that the master plan for the NDDC, they have spent almost, the master plan was to consume $15 billion. They have spent, not by NDDC, by the regions. The regions have spent $14.5 billion and have not done anything in the master plan. So you see, we don't even follow master plan. We don't even follow economic plan. So what we have will be, when I come, I remember I find some projects, give the contract to my relations, inflate the cost, and they build it. When they go, whether that project is going to function or whether it's not functioning, nobody cares. So we have elephant projects lying all over Nigeria. Except now, anyone they say now, they now start afresh to rebuild it, repackage it. So our development had been would have had economic value if the projects had economic
realistic
business plan.
Okay.
When we do this, it will do this. When we do this, it will do this. So we now concentrated in producing graduates who will not find work, because nobody cared to develop the economy alongside development. If you have investment growing, you have development growing. The products of that development, educational development, waiting development, the products of those developments will now flush into the economy. But if not, you bring a master's degree and doctorate degree persons who don't know where to work, and they cannot work in the local government secretariat.
Now let's move on to, you spoke something about loan, and it's quite remarkable when you said we should go for cheap loans rather than go for the long-term 2-digit loans. Let's look at River State loan plan. We've seen that since 2008, statistics has shown that the River State constantly has gone owing, and at the moment over 6.3. In 2008 they were owing over $32.3 million. Now in 2015 It's now at 6.2 billion naira. Sorry, $billion. Before it was a million, now is a billion. What went wrong? Would you still suggest that they go into servicing loan? Because every time they keep taking loans, we hear from World Bank, from IMF, from here, from there. At the end of the day, where were this loan put in place?
The history of River State is the history of Nigeria. You see, when there are two types of loans, the loans you take to complete your liquidity ratio, to service your expenditure, to meet up, to make your budget meet up. So you consume the money, and even if you are doing some projects, the projects are also developmental projects. But another type of loan is from bond and the capital market. It's long term. It's a long time. It's cheap. And other foreign loans. You take those ones to say, okay, you want to build a modern market in River State, or you want to do processing of palm produce in River State, or processing of fish stock, so that the River State will now become an exporter. That's the type of loan Dangote. Dangote is rich. Dangote borrows. He works with the IFC, the International Finance Corporation. When you bring 25% of the money for a project, after the auditors have gone through, when you put down the 25% of it, they will bring 75%. And then we bring those the accountants who will also make sure that the money doesn't go into frivolities. So that way, that project, if it's a Bajana cement company, it will be well executed. And the product from that cement, people buy it because the market is there. Their survey has shown that the market is there. The income from that project, that economic investment, will be paying the loan and still bring wealth, create wealth in the society. So it will be creating wealth here, and it will also be paying the loan. When it finishes retiring that loan, the project becomes an free economic installment for the country. But if you get that loan, so the loan you use to make your budget to work, to make the expenditure to work, is consumed loan, and your children will pay back in tears. But if you have 1, 2, 3, 4 mega projects, and those projects link to each other, if it is power project and that project is also linked with other projects, that you see that when you produce megawatts, the consumers will pay for that megawatt, and they use that good light to power their industry and make more gain, and be glad to pay a power bill, and the power bill now goes to pay back that money for gas turbine and creates wealth in country.
Minus the taxation.
So it creates money for government through tax, it creates job, and it pays back the loan. It is not your son that will come and pay that loan through punishment. So there are two types of loans. So you should be asking your government what type of loan were they taking.
What kind of loan were we taking?
Asking
what kind of loan? Because if I ask what kind of loan were we taking?
I remember that in this state, from 2008 or so,
okay,
the state wanted to take 100 billion rand figure to do certain projects that will be paid for by those same projects. The bond suffered processing from year to year,
and then
it didn't work out. It forced the state government now to start taking short-term bank loans called bridging loans. You're not going to take 50 billion, you're going to take 30 billion. As you take them, you pay through your nose, and at the end, it's not even a loan, because if you take the loan, you must pay back in 2-3 years. So what loan is that? It was also good though. The bridging loan was if we say you are expecting money in the rainy season, but you want to do some roads in the dry season, so you now take a bridging loan, so that when the money comes in the rainy season, when you are not using it, you pay back. It's also a good type of loan. But there was a capital loan, a bond that was to come in big size, and if it came in big size, used in big size, they will pay back. The projects will pay for themselves, not your son or your child now being forced to grow lean, paying debt. So you have to be, economic managers are careful the kind of loan they want to take. Is it cheap? Is it long term? And where does it go to? Does it go to things that will fuel that economy, so that the economy will be big enough to compete with other economies and make gain and still pay for those loans? That's where government craftsmanship, planning, and intelligence. That time is not party politics. That time
is business.
Is business thinking. Whoever can make it work, you don't mind buying him, because the result will be for your people.
Now let's we were talking about, we went into budget. Some questions while I was drafting questions for this, somebody called to my attention that Riverside operates an open budget system. Is that right?
What is the meaning of that?
Because when he was explaining, he said most ministries, with the current recession, with the inflation of things in the country, they don't know what budget they are working with. Now, when we come to planning, how does that play into our economy?
Well, budget is not economic planning. First of all,
okay.
The budget now will be pieces of financial steps taken from year to year to meet the planning. So budget is not planning. Budget is meeting a plan.
It's just like
so if there is no plan, what are you meeting? You are reacting to cry. As you tour a place, they cry as they see how all our children be. You run and put a project there. I didn't say it's bad. It will win instant support. But you see,
it will affect us in the long run.
That's not planning. That one is good, but it's not planning. The planning is when you have finished your plan, the next thing you will ask yourself, you will be, how much is this plan? Any plan that you don't plan, say anybody, I read plans. When I read plans, I laugh. You say, I've done a plan. Inside the plan, what you do is, we shall do this. We shall do this, not the plan.
What have you done?
It is those things you plan to do, what the time you want to do it.
Time frame.
Where are you going to get money to do it? The money you are going to do it, what else could you have done with that money? Is it the best place to put that money? At what cost are you getting that money you are going to put there? That's planning. One candidate during the past gubernatorial elections, during the campaigns, one candidate showed us a very beautiful plan on what to do. As he was reading the plans, I used my bio as an economic analyst or as a business analyst. I was translating the cost of each thing he thought about while he was talking. Anyone he finished, I will do this in 2 years. I will work out the amount and drop. At the end of his speech, I calculated all those things he said he was going to do. I said, sir, during the question and answer, I said, sir, these things you say you will do will consume a minimum of this in 2 years. He said he thinks so. That's okay.
He thinks, not he knows.
So if you think that if you agree that it will cost you so amount in 6 months, in 2 years, your state is earning so amount per year for now.
So how?
And totally you are going to earn in 2 years will not be up to 50% of these things you plan to do. So at that point, people started shouting. I said, so how are you going to get the remaining money? So it's not enough to sit down and write. At the Sokogo, they had another plan.
Supplementary plan.
They had another plan which they didn't want to review. We had a plan on how to raise money. And so you see. So if you are a planner, you plan what they tell you. Then how will these projects you are planning to do, how will they integrate, how will they link to create wealth? Because you see, the Bible told you about what 1,000 by your right hand,
and then 10,000.
So when you fight alone, you kill 1,000 people. When 20 of you fight together, you kill 10,000 people. Have you seen the law of elasticity? That when you continue to allow projects to stand alone, they'll be creating 100 jobs. But when you integrate your projects, they may create 10,000 jobs. It's just teaching you a theory, which we will only quote it as Bible students and go to sleep. You don't know that teaching you business concepts.
Business concepts.
when facilities link up, they save cost and they give you more income.
Okay, now let's move on to the way
forward.
Yes. Would you suggest that we should be creating more agencies or more funds or experts? What's the way forward?
My dear brother, I've always been preaching, and the few things I put down that can be done for this state, for anybody who wants to move forward in the economy. See, what are those setbacks? You see that the economy we have is the one that disrupted the previous economy. When oil and gas came, they disrupted fishing and disrupted palm oil and other things. So that we went from oil exporter, those who dash palm oil to Malaysia, and then we turn to those who buy oil from Malaysia. It is a destruction of the economy by the entrant of what's supposed to be a big brother economy. It rather came to disrupt the previous ones. Now, do you know how important palm oil is? When we were in Israel, we were passing towards Egypt. The guides proudly showed us their palm plantation, the only one. And they said, do you know how we got palm tree in our country? We said, no. Our gallant soldiers who went to fight war in one part of Middle East, they stole their palm. They stole palm nut, and they brought it, and we planted it. I was looking at their pride in palm nut that is wasting in my country. And somebody is proudly showing us that they stole, pass it through the ship, hide and search. That country will not spare you if they see you stealing their palm nut. But here we live in that shoe, the best palm nut. So you see that what we have is what somebody is proudly went to steal from those who stole from us. So that shows you what you are missing. But we brought an economy, oil economy, that came to destroy the previous economy.
It's a down-look economy.
Let us waste time on it. The way forward, since we have agreed that the negatives we have had from our economy, destructive economic pattern, imposition of new economic culture. We had oil brought a new economic culture. That is the emergency of monoproduct economy. One product, no more other products, kill other products. There's some grasses that you grow in your farm. Before 3 years, all other plants will die, all other grasses will die. Only that one. And that one not again new. So that's the type of economy we had. Emergency of rent economy, where you sit down at the end of the month they give you rent. Import dependency lifestyle. Anything you want, they must come from abroad. Otherwise, they are not a happening boy. Entitlement mentality. You don't say now we get this place, so they give you. It's not what you put, but that you are entitled. So these are the inversion of a set allies. This region, River State and this Niger Delta, began to have wayo friends, false friends, allies from other regions.
Allies are not wanted.
Who told you that they are your brothers, and you agree, and an economy and an alliance from outside. So that all the oil wells, you will now go to your false friends and all the rest. So when you wake up, so but the way forward is this. Creating what I call champions of an economy. Do you know that Dangote was deliberately created? Do you know why they created Dangote and the Todola and the 3 champions? They discovered that whenever a head of state travel abroad, he will be meeting with the head of state there. The head of state there will have super investors on his side, while our own head of state we have SME investors. So when they say company versus company sign agreement, the company there is a multi-billion-dollar company. While your own is 100 naira and 50 naira company, they cannot sign contract. So Nigeria deliberately built supermen who could also stay. That's why I have MTN. MTN was deliberately created by a government to reflect the new ownership of South Africa from the other side to the other side. So that if they say bring your big champions,
you will bring our own.
They will bring our own. So you must deliberately create champions. Is it a government agency? Is it some investors that are indigenous to you? You empower them. You don't, not by fraud. If you give them consistent contract, look at what they did to Dangote. Dangote, if you make you the sole importer of cement for so number of years, will you convert that riches, convert it to being into a manufacturer of cement? And they signed a deal. So other people were stopped. Dangote and few others were now giving cement. That cement gave them a way to base that made them not to qualify to build cement. Today, are we not an exporter of cement?
We are.
We are not longer importing. So it is deliberate. If they had allowed Dangote to struggle on his own, do hustling until he became the world's, Africa's largest producer, he wouldn't have reached there. So the government of a state must deliberately create champions. I'm not saying those who will help you in election. Great champions. Real champions. Champions in the economy. So that they can engage opponents. If you don't train good soldiers will capture your territory. So economic champions, important, or agencies, reaching a 10-year economic plan. The problem is you'll be so busy trying to, Nigeria and River State, you'll be so busy fighting with all your energy to win election. You will not use the remaining energy to fight to remain in power, otherwise you'll be removed. So all the days of your life you are fighting for power. It doesn't give room for economic planning. But can there be a 10-year economic plan
where no politics involved?
And this economic plan will be people driven. People will bring ideas. Why do you have a cultural center? It's not for jamboree. There are the places where people will sit down from all the local governments, all the parts of the state, to come and debate on the kind of economy they want. Non-partisan. So traditional rulers will coordinate because they are not in party. Church leaders, investors, students union, all the bodies, then banks and all this. So through several meetings, they arrive at what they say. These are the sectors and the important things we should pursue. So it doesn't have to be the manifesto of any person who wants to be governor. So that you pander to the clapping of the masses. They give you false sense of economy. So can we have a 10-year plan that is a rock, that is built on rock? So that whoever is governor, I didn't say projects. Projects will not come from the program. You can do your project within this program. You can favor anybody you want to favor with project. But what I'm saying is that can we say in the next 10 years we shall push in agriculture to this point, so that you don't stop a project, an agricultural project or a project that your predecessor was doing because you were not part of it. But if it is the people driven and we have a 10-year economic agenda,
you know that
agreed by, signed by everybody. It means if you come, you must follow that route. But you can do your own projects within that route.
You can do your own projects that will not affect that.
Your projects will be within them. So you'll be going inside. If I did terrain, if there are 15 projects that will deliver us to an agricultural economy, if during my time I did terrain, it means when you come, you continue with number 4. Instead of now going to scatter the one I did, introduce another project that's not bearing in the one what we have done. It is not economic development. So you'll be running around, and in the next 50 years, when we celebrate River State another 50 years, you will still be repeating these lamentations of today. So,
so before we continue, because of time, your first point was to create champions. And agencies.
Other champions as individuals
or agencies.
I don't care.
Don't we have those agencies in place already? Don't you think it's a question of us restructuring the agencies we already have?
If you think you have, for instance,
do we have?
For instance, if you come to that's something the River State have been planning to do for the past 7-8 years. They call it a one-stop shop office. That's to say, you come with your portfolio, you want to do anything. That office you enter into, whatever you need to do to do business in River State, all of them in that same office. As you sit down here, as we are here now, this desk is for land. This desk is for business premises. This desk is for signage and the signboard collection. This other one is for this. This other one is for pay as you earn. This other one is company tax. So when you sit down there, you are through with them. Whatever document you need, now here you will get it. No. Whatever you need to pay is here you pay. And when they give you their stamp, even when Satan sees it, Satan will respect that stamp. But this one now is, I don't think giving you want to set up a media house, I don't think you know all the offices you need to visit. And the more offices more demand will be coming, so it will be coming till you die. So it looks as if government's plan is to keep business, while it's not what they mean. So some states have done that. It is important to have a one-stop shop that when you go there, anything concerning land, if that land is for government project, you will see it there. Then you go on your own, they're going to give you wrong land. When you are halfway building your plan, the government will come and say, this land is supposed to be for this, your money is gone. What you do is to go to another state. So do we have super agencies? Do we have supermen?
So we need to create super agencies.
We should create super agencies to create supermen. There is a commodity market. Let me leave it because it's intricate and know the creation of agri processing zone. What we have is the oil and gas. We have oil and gas free zone. Oil and gas free zone. So after having all the oil and gas free zone, will you eat oil? So do we have agri processing zone? What do you get there? Meaning that the government has secured the land. Government has prepared it. Government has done everything. When you move in, you process your garri, you process your rice, you transfer the value of a raw material to another state. Now when it's leaving River State, it will leave as a cheap product but as a finished product. So why don't we have farm agri processing zone, agro processing free zone? So that while an individual will need to pay too much in his private plot, but because you are in an agri free zone, almost everything is free. Yes. And they may say, look, for producing this thing in so number of years, you will not pay ABC revenue.
But if that agri free zone is also to be created, some people will argue that taxes will obviously have to go up. Will it affect our taxes?
Taxes? No, a free zone. Look, a free zone. A free zone, we make the cottage industries to process what is called free zone. That several things are free as they are starting the processing, right? When they stabilize now, they now start paying.
Okay.
Then government, they cannot run away. Government will supervise. Then government owns the place.
It's governance.
So if they are paying for water, the water is central water. If it's for light, it's central light. If it's the sanitation, it's central sanitation. So it's not a situation whereby you, as you're setting up your agro processing company, you have to pay for land, pay for road, you do the road to your own company expenditure. You create your own security. But if you are in an agri free zone,
they already have all those things.
Security is paid for by government, so you won't pay. Water is paid for, is provided by government. What you only pay is the one you use. But if you can build your own, you have to build your own water system, power system, security system, road system, telephone system. But then you put it in, how much is left for the real process? And being agriculture, at the end of that, the price of your packet of what you process, Sabuvita, the price will be higher than the market price because the rivers is a high cost zone. So government needs to, you can do, a private man can do this in Nnewi because in Aba is a low cost zone. And when they bring it to the market, it will be cost effective. But if you do it in Port Harcourt by the Port Harcourt price, after dealing with land alone, anything you produce here, the price will be 3 times the one made in Aba. But if you have a processing, agri-processing free zone, people produce at cheap price and use it to fight the market. And when they are strong enough to be independent, they can be paying whatever government wants. So that is why some of us are recommending for that kind of zone.
Okay.
We need a dedicated bank. We need a dedicated bank that will fund industries.
Talking about a dedicated bank
or fund. That's why I put it stroke fund.
Funds. Now let's look at if you're suggesting that the Development Bank of Nigeria that was just initiated and also the Agricultural Bank, don't you think they can handle it?
Fine, they can handle it. But what is wrong for a state to say so percent of our oil income? There's something called 13%. That 13%, if you use it to only do project without investment, what is wrong in saying 30% of our 13% will be dedicated to a fund for our people who want to do business? Is it not economic development instead of infrastructure development?
Yes.
Since that 30% goes to infrastructure to develop,
so people will not know what they want.
If you confess in the university, in the agri sector, if you confess here, if you win governors this, if you win social things in NYC, we will open that account. There could be a panel that will look at business plans. So if you win it and you are an indigene, we help you to set up a business
through that fund. Okay.
So you can be a fund, it can be a bank, and then it leads to the other important one that I call opportunity desk. I'll say this, but opportunity desk to me is this: there are several funds, foreign funds, international funds, local funds, national funds. Only you see them on internet. You don't know the one that is Yahoo.
You don't know how to even assess them.
So what is wrong for a governor of any state? I'm not talking about River State too. If you make me governor of Akatekwe and Sons State, if you make me governor there, the first desk and the first commissioner or a government official I will appoint is opportunities desk. Then that desk, wherever they hear that central bank is giving out grants fund, our person will go and study everything. What is required to get it, and how does it come to download it to my people? I hear that social bank is giving loan. I won't wait for my indigenes who don't know how to enter into central bank. They will go there and download it. So that when a Rivers man walks or Imo man or Abia man walks into the opportunities office of his
already knows.
Any opportunity in Spain, in England, our money is to get them and they make the condition. Some people, when some of all these things, they say fill your form online. 90% of our boys don't know how to fill online form.
They don't even know how to go online.
And that online, when they tell you, they may call something, say give your company your country zip. Some people don't know what zip is. So now this your experts will be there, so that when they go there, they will know what there are some states don't even know that is there, and some states don't have candidates. If you lobby very well, they may give you extra. If they are employing in the army, is your man there bringing the conditions? Who is even looking out for you for opportunities? Let me tell you, a state government can give over 10,000 jobs to their people through opportunity desk, which they did not spend, which they did not create in their own place. Opportunities in banks, in corporations, United Nations. I was hearing this last night that the United Nations, they are employing 10 lawyers are retiring. They are employing 10 persons. People are getting those jobs through sorting. The salary is $50,000 per month. So do you know that opportunity desk can find out, know it
how and how to push,
and they push one river son that is earning $15,000
will obviously be sending money to his people at home. First of all, so money is coming home. Then the people at home will also start investing and buying things.
How did I know? They want a pastor to pray for them. The pastor happens to know me. That's how I heard.
Oh,
are you getting it? So somebody has already got the job that posted him. Second person is processing. They're also fighting for their relation who's an accountant to be posted. So such opportunities, when they come, you will usually stay here, we won't here. So there are several opportunities, both in loans, both in scholarships, both in employment, both in secondment, sometimes not full employment. They want 10 people to work as volunteers. Look at what we will give you. There are several opportunities flying. But because all our eyes are on politics, we want to make sure that the ballot box does not escape our village. Our young men are focusing on ballot box, our old men are focusing on ballot box. It does not help an economy. It does not help a people. My state, any state can create opportunities desk, and the people you can give job without you paying salaries for them can be enough. You can be helping them to help themselves. Then before you now talk about, there are also partnerships. There are the ones that will say, okay, if we supposing we bring this, can you bring this? You can negotiate. And where you would have spent 2 billion, you will use 500 million on partnership basis. They bring the rest of the money. Okay. It's opportunity desk. It is important.
So, and then apart from that, what's the other things we need before we round up as time is?
Well, I've talked about partnership to foreign countries on product basis. A state can say, look, every day ambassadors come, this ones come. Can we say the country that produces cosmetics, can we partner with them, whereby the government grooms their own people, and those people will be our partners? In 3 years' time, we will be the African wing
for them.
Is there anything wrong for the state government to partner with? I saw when this was Finland, when Finland ambassador came here, they make all this Nokia that was really in Nigeria. Where is battery? Where are the chargers? Where are the accessories? No, is there anything wrong in giving the Finnish people, what do you call people from Finland? They're Finnish. Okay. Is there anything in giving the Finnish people what they want? And they now set a plant in West Africa that will be producing components of this thing, of Nokia. Is there anything wrong?
No.
So it's negotiation. You give them what they want. They give them. What about this company that win contract, multi-million contract? If you tell them your problem, they can link you up with a company in their country that manufactures something, so that your own country, your boys will form a small enterprise. They will partner, and your country will be producing components
for them.
So that when they bring the main engine to Nigeria or the main disk in Nigeria, the components will be assembled. It's not only a handshake at the government house, and the people will go, and they get what they want. And I don't know whether we get what we want. What about breakfast? The governor after breakfast with an ambassador. 20 families in River State will eat breakfast because of the breakfast of the governor. The governor's breakfast is an important. Don't think it's food they're eating. Breakfast is an important time. You negotiate good thing for your people. You have breakfast with an ambassador. It will lead to the breakfast for 20 indigens tomorrow.
And then so the first stock to is create super agencies, have super businessmen, also have 10-year plan, which economic plan, and also create opportunity decks. In fact, these 3 points are something that I know that everybody wants. And agri processes. So these are things people need to do. Thank you so much. I've just been speaking with the regional editor of Business Day newspaper, and he has taken us through the history of River State and also the way forward for our economy. Here's the regional editor of the Business Day newspaper, Nigeria foremost business daily, Mr. IGNATIUS CHUKWU. So thank you so much for being on the show, and thank you. We've spent, in fact, I don't want to go, but because of time, we'll have to take a walk. We'll be going on a break, and when we come back, we'll just be looking at the Nigeria Stock Exchange market for today after this short time out.
This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture. Nigerians, our fearless officers and men of the Nigerian military are winning the war against Boko Haram. Today, all occupied territories have been recovered and Boko Haram has been degraded. Our affected brothers and sisters are getting their lives back. However, they are now after you and me. In our mosques, churches, schools, motor parks, markets, entertainment centers, and public gatherings. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects, and movements to the police and other security agencies. The security of our nation is a duty for you and me. Nigeria, unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
On the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange market, we do see activities are trading. All share index is 27,508.32. Deals worth over 2,537, valued at over 5 billion. Market capitalization at the moment is over 9 trillion. And the top gainers for the moment, not for the day, mind you, is the Dangote Cement Company, which is trading, making a profit of 6 naira 5 kobo. Presco, Kumoil, USCN and Neighbourhood are among top gainers. Also among the top losers at the moment, what we're saying among the top losers, Nigerian Breweries, 7-Up and Fort Oil. Nigerian Breweries is losing at the moment 7 naira 34 kobo. Last close on Friday was 149 naira. Guarantee Trust Bank and Zenith Bank are occupying the 2 list position on the floor of the top losers. And then for the top traders, the top trade, which is usually among the banking industry, the top traders at the moment, our tech team is still working on it. We have Zenith Bank trading shares worth over 280 million, valued at over 3 billion. ETI, First Bank of Nigeria, Transcorp and First City Monument Bank are also among top traders. First City Monument Bank occupying the 5th position with shares worth over 12 million, valued at over 13 billion naira. And that rounds up our economy today. Do join us next week for another interesting topic. Enjoy the rest of your day. I am Atat Charles.